Hello guys, it's Spurs 21 here, back with another video for you. After what's happened over the last week, due to the catastrophe of a defeat against Sheffield United and the gritty, scrappy win last night against Everton, I thought I'd try to do my match review in a little bit of a different way this week. If you will, this is like the anatomy of Tottenham Hotspur. Basically, I'm going to try and go through what exactly the issues are, what needs to be addressed, what needs to be fixed, what we can build with. That. So, going back to the Sheffield United game first, the clear lack of balance in the team is very, very evident for all to see. And when I say the word balance, there's no fluidity in the side. I mean, ever since the restart, Jose Mourinho's been smiling, saying I've got all 6 of my attackers available, which means I can play them all at the same time. Which is all well and good, but if you haven't got something to counter that, you're going to leave your back forward exposed if you constantly have 6 players pressing. You need a proper holding midfielder in there. And it's not being negative when you do that. You need that type of player in to complement your attackers. Because that way you give them the opportunity to stay upfield, and plus that player protects the back 4. You look through any great team in history, you know, on club level and international level, every single team has that type of player in there. That player who tackles out of the midfield, protects the back 4, gives the forwards space to breathe and create and score. And that's out of everything, you know, there's a lot of things you can say that we need, but that is, for me, is the one position that we sorely lack, and that must be the number one objective to be sorted out in the transfer window in the summer ahead. You know, and it was very clear for all 3 of Sheffield United's goals, if you look at them. I mean, you could point to individual errors, like for the second goal, how you know, both Ben Davies and Eric Dyer just simply let Sheffield United go through and leave the striker basically 3 yards out from Hugo's goal. He's got 0% chance of saving it from there. You know, it's comical. And, you know, the lack of, as I said, almost communication between them, because they all just look lost out there. You know, it was very, very, very disturbing to watch. Among the litany of other things. Then we go to Everton last night, which was a little bit better. You know, the one shining light yet again was Giovanni Lo Celso, who not only, well, it wasn't his goal, but it was his shot that deflected in off Michael Keane, you know, that scored the only goal. And he was the one who was trying to create and move in that little role. And if his passes are often unfound because I do believe that Lo Celso's brainwave, he thinks so quickly and like as to where to find the good pass that he can do it, but because the players aren't on the same wavelength as him, they're not there to receive it when he does it. So that's a acute issue. That's why so many of our attacks, when you get to the final third, just seem to peter out. Also, it was a funny coincidence last night. Turvy came back into the side, and the team immediately kept a clean sheet. Second in 3 games now, so yeah. And I know Eric Dyer's got a lot of stick, you know, from a lot of our fans, but in my opinion, a lot of it's quite undeserved, because he's a very competent centre-back in that role. You know, if you look at the previous games, when it's been him and Davinson Sanchez, in a lot of instances, it's been Sanchez the one making the errors rather than Dyer, and Dyer's often been put out of position because of that, and is having to make, you know, do. Again, if you, that's just my opinion, guys. If you feel free to disagree, let me know in the comments. But I'd love to get your thoughts on that. But and then there was the incident at half time. Well, just before half time, there's an Everton are trying to play it through. Son is going for a ball and then loses it and then just sort of stops where he's halfway up the pitch. The ball ends up with Richarlison, who fires his shot just narrowly wide. And first of all, you can see Hugo Lloris communicating to Son, why didn't you go for the ball? And then obviously that escalated when the half-time whistle went. Hugo literally chased Son into the tunnel and they ended up in a big shouting match and ended up shoving one of them and they had to be separated. I don't know about any of you, again feel free to let me know, but I actually really liked that. We do get criticised for being too nice, the sort of smiley bro kind of culture that seems to happen at Spurs, we always seem to play nice with one another. We need that sort of more aggression a bit more in the side, and the fact that Hugo didn't just accept it, he went out as the captain of the team, and rightfully so, confronted Son about it, saying, what the hell were you doing? You nearly cost us a goal, and rightfully called him out for it. And it wasn't a big deal. You saw when they came out for the second half, they said, what's happened's happened, it's sorted, let's just go out there in the second half and see the game and win it. Which is what they did. And you saw the hugging and celebrate at full time, so they got it out of the system there, which is what you do, and they got on with their jobs and won the game. So, and we could do with that more often, that sort of, a big criticism of Hugo is often as a goalkeeper, you can't really lead the team, but in that situation, he led them, or took control of that situation perfectly. And you showed that, you should be willing to stand up for yourself, and, you rightfully did that. And, I'm not saying that's what has to happen all the time, but in certain situations, you need that aggression and fire in you. Look at do you think every successful team in history, all over the world, do you think that they have squads, with players who always get along with one another? No, they don't. You look famously Manchester United, and Andy Cole and Terry Sherry wouldn't speak to one another. Did it affect them on the pitch? No, of course it didn't. Because when you're professionals, you go on the pitch, you do your job for your team, and win your game. Because that's what you're paid to do. So I have no problem with that whatsoever. So anyway, that's my view on it, guys. Let's leave your thoughts in the comments. The fullback situation is another thing that needs to be addressed this summer. We've currently got two left backs. One, Ben Davies, who is more of a floater. He's got the ability to play in a position. He's more like the type of player who could fit in a position to do a job for some games. And Ryan Sessegnon, who, by his own admission, has struggled this season to get settled in, and it's easy to forget he is only 19 still, so, I think we need a good seasoned, experienced left back, and then obviously at right back you've got Aurier, who can either be brilliant or be a complete car accident, which happens too many times, unfortunately. And of course, Kyle Walker-Peters, who's coming out on loan at Southampton, who may be sold at the end of the season. So the fullbacks is something that needs to be addressed. And as I said, the holding midfielder is the other key one that needs to be dealt with. I know many people are still not warming to Jose Mourinho. Some people even want him gone already, which is ludicrous, to be honest. Jose Mourinho is the most successful manager in football for the last 15 years, and you can't expect him to work with what he's got, because there's clearly a lot of the squad's not good enough right now. And he needs a summer to at the very least decide, who can I work with, who can I not, and at least try and mould the team into what he believes he can manage. And because of the lack of confidence, Jules is overcompensating and making us defend more, which is, Jose Mourinho's tactic. You look through his history. If he feels his strikers or the team's lacking confidence, he will always set it up to be more defensive to try and grind out a result rather than playing good and either drawing or losing. Which in fairness, there's sometimes you need to do that. So I just urge with everyone just be patient a little bit. Get through the rest of the season that's left. Hopefully in the transfer window we can at least make some moves to at least fix the key positions that need sorting. And at the very least, come back the start of next season, whatever it is we can get going. And just restart and just hope that we're better. And we should be. And I certainly hope that we are. So that's going to be the end of the video, guys. As I said, if you do agree or disagree with anything I've said, leave your thoughts in the comments as ever. Thank you as ever for your amazing support, guys. Thank you for watching. I've been Ben Spurs. I'll see you soon. And as always, come on, you Spurs.